Hey guys, it's Bitcoin Schmitcoin here with another update for Bitcoin Magazine's Bitcoin analysis. We'll be starting on the monthly time frame, moving down to the weekly, the daily, and ultimately the 4-hour time frame to get a little bit more resolution on our trend. And as we near the monthly close in a few hours, the monthly support and resistance levels become a little bit more relevant. We can see here that we're most likely, unless something chaotic happens in the next few hours, most likely going to close well above prior support and close well below prior resistance. I was expecting previously to see a move above this going into the weekly close, but it didn't look like the market was ready to do that just yet. When we look at the weekly time frame, we see that although we did see a rally, we didn't quite poke the weekly level either. So we see this nice zone of untapped liquidity there. The other thing we should note here is that we're still holding support on the weekly time frame as well. The weekly candle closes in a couple of days. It closes Sunday night. But so far, the weekly time frame is holding its support as well. When we look at the daily time frame, things start to get a little bit more interesting. We see that we can start to develop this nice linearized parabolic curve. You can try to smooth out this curve, but you can get a lot of interpretations that way. And if you linearize it the way I have it, you get a little bit more charitable interpretation of the trend. And we can see here that despite the fact that we had a strong pullback yesterday evening, the curve has yet to be violated. And we can see that we're still finding nice support on the weekly level. When we look down to the 4-hour time frame, we get a little bit more resolution, and we can see here that in terms of a macro market structure, nothing's really been broken. We did see high volume off of this high. You can see it clearly took out this level here, ran a bunch of stops, and reversed. But nothing crazy really took place in terms of market structure. We were still finding support on the prior range. And although the volume was pretty high, the spread wasn't that intimidating. We've seen much higher spreads in the past, this being, of course, one of the more notable ones, this being another one. And what's happened a lot of the times is as we break these macro levels, so this was a prior weekly level, the market feels uncomfortable continuing up to the next one, and it comes back down and retests it before moving to the next one. So it's entirely possible that that's exactly what's happening here. So we had this 2-week long consolidation. We broke out on high volume, high spread. We ranged around, and once we poked this level here, a lot of supply showed up. So although it is immediately bearish that the supply did surface, it's immediately bullish that the supply wasn't able to close below the range support being here, which coincides with the weekly support. And to complement that, we see a strong buying pressure on this initial test, and then the retest here. We can see slightly above average buying volume here, and it's actually expanding a little bit. So although we're finding support here, something to consider is that we're still below a new established resistance. So if you're a bull, this is what you want to see. You want to see a break above this band of prices and reclaim support. We don't really want to see a knifing move above and a move below. That would be pretty bearish. That would be confirmed resistance. And would likely mean that if we break above, break above meaning into this zone and maybe even clear it. So maybe we see something like this, it moves up and it moves below. That probably means we're going to retest this support here. The support so far has been very strong, but let's go ahead and talk about the bearish case if this support doesn't hold. So let's go back to our parabolic curve here. We can see that the weekly level lines up really nicely with our parabolic curve. And if this breaks, we can expect to see a pretty stiff retracement. Most likely going to retest this band of prices on the 38% retracement. Bullish retracements in strong bull markets tend to favor 38% retracements. And it sees a nice confluence with the weekly level here. If it really gets bad, we could see possibly a 50% retracement, which lines up really well with a daily and monthly level outlined here. And I'll just zoom back out to the monthly level just so I can show you. The monthly level being this guy right here. Boom. So when we look at our 4-hour level, things are still looking bullish. Things will start to turn bearish if we get a rejection off this level. But so far, I don't think it's fair to call bearish or bullish market structure. I mean, it's inherently bullish because we're in an uptrend. But in terms of the intraday market structure, it's kind of feeling out. It's getting its legs, and it's figuring out what it wants to do. The macro support is still holding. And if we can get a move and close above here, I fully expect us to move to the weekly and monthly zone outlined by this level here. But yeah, as far as the immediate market structure is concerned, keep an eye out for this level, because if it gets rejected, most likely going to come back down here. And given the selling pressure that we saw previously, it's very possible that it'll come up and get rejected here, and most likely break this level and start to test these intraday guys down here. And if we do something like this, where it breaks above, comes below, finds resistance here, then we can fully expect to see this level get visited. But so far, the macro structure is bullish. I don't see any reason to think otherwise. We did see a short-term retracement, but in terms of how bad things could have gotten, this so far looks like confirmed support. So we had our consolidation, our breakout, coming back down to confirm support, and so far support is being upheld. That's all I got for you guys. Just keep your wits about you. Don't get overly bearish and spooked on the big moves down. Try to keep a level head, and watch out for the macro levels and this intraday level that I outlined here.